Welcome in the newest tutorial. Now it's time to do the white ornaments that you saw a little bit on my previous tutorial, somewhere in between the purple ones. And we're gonna use Apex Resin 1 coat again, which is high viscosity resin. And we are going to prepare first the base, but don't forget to do the prep work. Spray paint the canvas in any light color or white. I use here white spray paint, acrylic paint, and I also tape the sides and the tip of the ornament. And they're just standing on small paper cups, the same cups that I'm using for pouring. As you can see here, I'm using to keep them a little bit higher on the mat. So I'm adding a little bit of transparent resin to the cup, and I'm gonna use Ethereal Dreams from DRUZY Goddess line, and I'm gonna mix just a little bit with the resin. And first we are gonna create a base for underneath the DRUZY to have a little bit of sparkle coming through and peeking through the DRUZY. And I'm specifically working first with resin and then with DRUZY because I feel like it's a better solution and it's gonna make the DRUZY looking much softer and nicer. And we're gonna apply just in the center of the ornament. Just eyeball it. It doesn't have to be extremely precise. Add it on this very white line in the center of the ornament. As you can see, I'm just spreading very thin layer of the resin because it's gonna be just our base, and we are gonna top coat the ornaments later after doing the line work. So this is our first step in the whole process, and you will see that together with the prep work, with spray painting, creating first layer of resin, then putting on the DRUZY in different colors, doing the line work and finishing touches with gold, and then top coating it. It's a lot of the steps whenever you're working with DRUZY style and Geode style. It's always multiple steps in the creation process. And I'm just testing here the white background, so I decided to work with 4 ornaments, but you can also work with more ornaments, of course, you know, and use always calculator to just calculate slightly the amount that you are gonna need. But I'm using here maybe just like 20 milliliters of resin in total for those 4 small ornaments. Those ornaments are 6 centimeters, which is somewhere close to 2 inches, 2 and a little bit more than 2 inches. And now I'm just I mixed just a little bit more because I was not having enough of this glitter mixture, and I'm gonna do another glitter also from DRUZY Goddess line collection, which was the Starseed. It's iridescent fine glitter, which is having this very beautiful sunset shimmer to it. You can see it here, and I'm adding it just on the edges of the previous base. And you can see how much of the glitter I'm adding to the mixture. I really love to work with this glitter, with this color shade. It's giving me very nice and warm sunset vibes. So I'm adding it, as you can see, just line on the edges on both sides. And all of the ornaments. And you can see me doing this tutorial in real life. So it's taking a lot of time, but at least you can have also an image of how long it is taking to work with geode art, and it doesn't seem unreal for you when you start working yourself, because when you always see videos with the speed up process, it seems like you are working maybe too slow or something is off, because our mind and our brain is remembering the speed and the moves and everything, you know, that the other person was creating when you are learning. So I think it's very, very important to watch sometimes real-time tutorials. And if you're interested in geode art style, I encourage you to check my other courses. And also I have here tutorials on the YouTube when I'm showing two other styles. One is in the purple color that you're gonna see somewhere here on the tutorial in between the whites, because I was doing them at the same time, top coating and drawing the lines. And another one is in blue color. So check my channel for more tutorials. And now I decided to finish the rest with just a touch of Goddess Whisper. It's ultra fine white silver, and you can see I'm just adding it to the resin left over, and it's gonna just close up finish the design, just to give the a little bit of sparkle. I don't mind having a little bit more glitter in the ornaments, especially in the ornaments. Unfortunately, the loose glitter is not more available in the DRUZY sets and in the ornament set that I was previously offering to actually do exactly the same ornaments with me. But you can still shop the ornament sets where I'm having those ornaments that you can see here, those wooden canvases. You will get DRUZY in different color themes where you can choose your own color theme for the project, from purples to blues to greens, earthy tones like very amber and citrine colors. And you can see full options on my DRUZY Goddess collection page. And what is important here is that you will get also the brush for finishing touches, the little cup that I'm using for mixing the resin for the DRUZY for the pouring. But also I was having glitter in the collection, but I replaced it with beautiful silver and gold sand and pearlescent, a touch of also a little bit of pearlescent DRUZY, which you can add on top of your design, a little bit of pearl finish. And yeah, it's still an option. You will just have to use your own glitters to create the base. But if you have any white, iridescent white or silver white glitters, you can easily do this project still with me, or send me an email with questions, and I will guide you into the getting the proper glitter for the project. So you can still shop the ornament sets and you can still do this project with me. Nothing is standing on the way in doing the ornaments together. So yeah, you can see like 9. I'm showing 9 because I did 9 ornaments with small amount of like 50 milliliters, I think, of resin. I made like 9 ornaments. And I'm gonna show you a small close-up. The light is not perfect, but you can see, especially on the purple ones, how the glitter is beautifully shimmering from delicate silver to peach tones. And now we are mixing cup of resin for the DRUZY's mixtures. And this is super exciting because this is the time when I'm getting excited about the creation process. Is the DRUZY Goddess in white ambrosia, which we use as our base, and then we have different options. This is Eidos blush, which is very delicate purple. This is Persephone's Peony, which is very delicate but warm violet color. I love this color so much. It's one of my favorites. We have an option to use Rose Kiss, which is close to Rose Quartz, a little bit more intensive, and Amethyst Look Violet Dream. So we have those 4 colors of the DRUZY from DRUZY Goddess collection, and we are gonna use a little bit of each color. I'm just mixing a spoon of each DRUZY with resin, and basically the details about how much resin you mix in the DRUZY and all of that you get when you purchase the DRUZY Goddess line products. So I'm mixing in a cup different colors of the DRUZY that I just showed you with resin, and we're gonna start to apply it together on all of the ornaments. And yeah, this is how the DRUZY is transitioning. So it's looking differently when it's dry, and it's changing. It's more vibrant when it's mixed with the resin and it's getting wet. It's much more crystal and vibrant when you mix it with the resin. It's getting it's looking much more like crystals. And now you can see here I'm having a cup of white ambrosia. I'm always eyeballing the amount of DRUZY that I'm using because it's so easy to use the leftovers and create beautiful highlights, and those highlights can be used on the ornaments and any other projects later as well, but I'm gonna talk about it later. And you can see that I'm just applying in the center. So where I added previously the first a little bit more chunky white silver glitter Ethereal Dreams, I'm putting here the base, which is white ambrosia. I like to use it white ambrosia as a base for the colors, but of course I think when you work on white background, it's a good idea to actually add more color DRUZY than white. It's possible, and it's gonna create different effect, but it's gonna be even more rich and colorful, especially if you work with white background and not colorful background. When you add more color DRUZY, like 60-70% of the colors and then 30% of the white, let's say. But I use here the same exact amount for purples, and for white ones I use the same amount of white ambrosia for the base. And it's going just like one by one ornament, right? But you need to be precise. Whatever is free falling down on the mat, I'm taking with my sticks. I'm just like pushing it on the side, and then I'm creating those highlights from the leftovers. So do not worry. It's an amazing idea to always use whatever is left from DRUZY and put it in a small little islands and let it cure. But of course it needs to be on plastic mat or silicone mat, so you can easily remove it after the resin is cured, because as you know, resin is easily removable from plastic and from the silicone. And now I'm starting just like one color by one. So I'm starting with the most rich color, which is the Violet Dream. And you can see that I'm using my bamboo stick to form the design, and it's definitely time-consuming and precise work, because if you apply too much of it, it can fall down, or it's gonna be just like too much of one color. So it's really precise work, and you need to be patient, but it's not like it's amazingly difficult. You can do it, you can look how I'm creating it and do it with me. Because I want to use all of the colors, or at least minimum 3 of them, I actually ended up using 3 of the colors, and I add the blush only to just a tiny bit, because I was feeling like those ornaments are getting very, very rich. What is also possible is mixing all of the 4 colors in one cup and putting then mixing it first in the one cup and then putting it from the cup just on top, and whatever color will be more or less used, this is gonna be it, right? And then you will go just like only once above each of the ornaments, so that's an option as well. But like, I'm a very precise person when I'm creating my art. It doesn't matter if it's ornament or small projects or coasters. I'm really extremely precise, so I rather do one by one because it's easier for me to have a better control over the outcome and over the look than when I'm randomly picking, pouring from the cup. And it's the same with pouring the resin. Moving around with the stick just to create very balanced design between the colors and the composition on each and every one of them. Please remember that the resin, even if the pot life is 20 minutes, you can really work with the DRUZY up to 40 minutes. So there is no rush. You can still very much maneuver the DRUZY, move it around with the stick and redesign, change a little bit easily within 40 minutes. So don't feel rushed in the process, and also know that you can still, adjust something. But the goal is to just have a little bit nice balance between the colors, but also try to not overwork it. Try to find also the balance in your process when you don't obsess about every single millimeter of how the DRUZY is laid down. And yeah, we are almost there. Now it's time for the next stage. It's actually after 3 hours. Resin is already cured because this resin is curing within just 2 hours. So I'm able to just continue working within the same day on this project, and I start to draw the line. I choose purple acrylic pen from Uniposca and white pen, and I'm just choosing, working with the colors, looking if I like them, if I don't like them. Just try different shades, especially if you work with different color tones, like a little bit of purple and pink. You can try different markers to see, and I'm having here a marker from Tuli Art, because Tuli Art is having a little bit better choice of color combinations, especially in the earthy and skin colors sets. You have a lot of different shades of purples, pinks, beiges, grays, so you can try colors from those Tuli Art lines. Remember to always shake your pens properly at least 2-3 minutes if you haven't used them for a while. Prep them on the mat. Sometimes they're just not drawing right? They're skipping they're not drawing, the ink is not flowing nicely from the tip of the pen. So it's always very important to properly prep the pens. But you can draw different combinations, and whenever you don't like it, I'm using baby wipes and I'm just like wiping it off, because Posca pens are so easily, acrylic pens are so easy to wipe off from the resin if it's cured, because it's very smooth surface. And I'm just, after wiping, I'm just cleaning and polishing everything with toilet paper to make sure that it's smooth and there is no wet areas or leftovers from the previous pens before I start redrawing the lines. But go with the flow of your design and you cannot go wrong. Just try different combinations until you like something. I recommend sticking to 1M size pens. And after this is done, I'm using a little bit of alcohol ink because I needed to stay indoor. I'm usually doing completely different varnish for finishing touches in gold that I'm teaching in my classes, but I had to stay indoor, so I use alcohol ink in color Brass from Pinata as a base. And then I've added the gold floating pigment powder to the mixture. And this is something that I use to actually drawing lines. Here is the floating pigment powder. So it's a lot of pigment powder, right? Because I wanted this mixture to be very, very rich and to the gold to be very, very rich. But I really recommend doing the regular varnish that I'm having, the other mixture that I'm having, if you can go outside and if you can paint outside, because this varnish is really, really smelly, the sealing varnish for oil paints. So yeah, I decided to experiment with that because a lot of other artists are using exactly the same mixture like I'm using here for the gold finishing touches. And you will see me very shortly painting. I'm using fine brush that I'm adding to, and the same cup that I'm adding to my DRUZY orders. And I'm just very slightly painting on the edge of the DRUZY. And why I decided to paint here and not on the purple ones, just because here, as you can see, I'm having a lot of white DRUZY, and I decided that if I will be doing outline with gold, I can make the DRUZY to stand out a little bit and pop a little bit more. So it's up to you. If I would use a little bit more color on the edges, so it will be much more visible edge with the white background, I will probably skip on gold finish, but of course it's up to you. I'm giving you like two different finishing touches and two different choices. You can either do what I'm doing here on this design or choose to work with no metallics as I did on the purple ones. Now another angle, but basically the same process. What I want to make sure that you know about is that you can use also different metallics. If you use different color of floating pigment powder, you can probably go for a rose gold or copper or bronze. If you choose different floating pigment powder, just make sure that the alcohol ink that you use for the base, it's also having similar tones. So for example, use silver alcohol ink with silver floating pigment powder and copper alcohol ink with copper pigment powder. So there's a little bit better correlation in the colors. But yeah, I think gold is pretty universal one, and a lot of you like to work with gold. It's giving this a little bit more of elegant touch to the DRUZY, but as you can see, every time when you add metallics, it's making the composition much more heavy. And this is true to all of kind of geode art projects. Whenever you decide to outline the DRUZY with metallics, it's gonna make the design much more heavy. If you want a little bit of dreamy look, skip on the metallics and choose to leave just the DRUZY. Maybe just add, as I mentioned already, a little bit more color in the mixture to have it stand out more from white. But that's that. I'm just going through each and every of the ornaments and I'm painting outside with this blend. and I'm dabbing also the edges of the DRUZY to make it a little bit more like softer correlation between the line and the DRUZY. So it's looking a tiny bit more natural, but it's all up to you. We are gonna draw a little bit of line still. Remember that it's all up to you to choose different colors and different shades of pinks, purples, white. It doesn't matter. Even white, it's still is visible when you draw on white background because it's all covered in resin, so it's 3D effect, and it's the resin is tinted with glitter, so the effect is gonna be completely different. I decided to actually add to the pink. I draw a line with this pink, dusty pink color, and I added a line of white Posca pen. And this is the color combo that I decided to go for. You can draw also lines with gold pen, but always remember to use, for the size of the projects, I recommend using 1M size, so fine, very fine pens. 1M size, it's something that the M sizes are something that Posca is using, so it's gonna be easy for you to pick the right pen when you're purchasing online. But this is it. This is how I decided to finish those ornaments, and now it's time to top coat them. Posca pens are still easily scratchable from the surface, and I decided to top coat them. Remember that it's all up to you. If you will be very delicate with the ornaments, you don't have to top coat them, but if you will store them together, they can scratch one of the ornaments, or DRUZY on one of the ornament can easily scratch the pen line on the other ornament. So it's high risk, but if you will not top coat the ornaments, it's a good idea because it's giving the DRUZY even more soft look. Every time you add resin, it's gonna make the whole composition a little bit more hardened, because resin is still gonna soak a little bit into the DRUZY. And you can see me top coating both of my projects. If you are looking to do the purple ornaments with me, you can check my other tutorial here on the channel. I'm also having a tutorial for blue ones, and you can see how precise this work is, and it's so time consuming because you are working on so small surfaces. And you can see that I'm pouring from the stick because I don't want to over pour the resin, so it's easier to actually apply it from a stick instead of directly from the cup. And I'm distributing it with my favorite bamboo stick, and I'm just pushing the resin in between the DRUZY slightly, just to make sure that the entire resin is the entire ornament is covered equally, right? So it's a very time consuming and detailed work to do all of the ornaments, but it's something that is going to assure a better blend and better protection. And if you decide to use gold pens, those are not easily scratchable, so you can really paint with gold metallic pens on top of the resin surface, like a second layer of pens, like right now after the top coat is gonna cure, and those are not gonna be so easily scratched. So I recommend that to do at the end of the process, actually to use some fine pens for extra details and extra 3D look. And that's gonna be almost it, guys. You will see me going through one by one, and I wanted to show you, it's still with speed up. It's almost 2 times faster than I was doing it, so you will have a better understanding, I hope, with this tutorial, how much time it's gonna take you. But I encourage you to experiment with different colors, with different textures and finishing touches, because you can see easily how adding metallic or just like different line work can transition and change, even if you use the same background. Choosing different sets of DRUZY, like if you, for example, have Limitless Goddess set with different colors. I'm having 18 colors of DRUZY in the set. You can make each and every ornament different, and it will be like a total blast to work on different projects like that. It's gonna completely open up your mind on different geode styles, different geode color combination. I see more and more crystals which are combining, like for example purple, pink, but a little bit of citrine look as well, and you can easily maneuver between different colors and different options. Instead of using different colors of resin, you can use different colors of DRUZY, and each and every time make it even, you know, more unique. So I truly recommend experimenting more with DRUZY, experimenting more with different color combos. I'm gonna work on some alcohol ink ornaments for you as well, to just show you a little bit of diversification, and you can make, I'm sure that it's gonna be absolutely you know, rewarding to create the ornaments by yourself. Remember that they're ready to use ornaments set with DRUZY and the ornaments and everything, and you will have enough DRUZY to work on multiple projects with me. We can do together from just this one set of DRUZY that you purchase. You can do with me also kitchen board, container lids, beauty box, and the ornaments, like 3-4 different projects from this from the DRUZY that you receive in one set. So it's highly recommended, guys, if you want to try DRUZY yourself. If you have your own idea about working in the DRUZY and doing some DRUZY projects, feel free to use whatever you learn in this video. I'm hoping that it was informative, and I hope that it gave you a lot of information to go and experiment, and courage, and maybe like inspiration to go and experiment. But I completely forgot, like, yeah, I still have to show you how to finish the tips of the ornaments. So I'm gonna show you just in a moment here. Yes, now is the time to it's the next day. It's time to remove the tape from the tips. So if you tape them properly, you can see that you will get a super nice straight line. Warm up the resin first a little bit, and then just rip the tape off, and you will have all of the tip just clean. And I'm gonna show you how to finish it for sparkly look. Use any kind of high gloss varnish. Apply the varnish I'm having from Liquitex. Apply the varnish with a brush on top of the tip, and you can see the bottom side is super nice and clean after removing the tape. And you can also paint the sides, but I rather use you need to add the glitter, or you need to paint it with metallic pen, right? So you need to choose what you prefer. I actually painted with varnish, and then we are gonna just sprinkle starseed on top of it, and you can choose any kind of glitter you want and just sprinkle it on top of this wet varnish, and it's gonna stick to it. And it's good to do it above a cup or something that it's gonna catch all of the leftover glitter, so you can reuse it. You can put it back into the bag, and you can use it again. But it's really easy, and once the varnish is dry, the glitter is gonna stay there. So it's super easy to do. You just need to put something at the end to hang the ornament on the tree, and you need to decide if you want to paint the sides. Now I decided to paint them in silver, but if you finish the ornaments, like the gold ones with gold finishing touches, like I truly recommend to use gold pen as well. just to match the finish, right? But you don't have to paint the sides. You can choose to leave, if you spray painted them nicely on the sides as well, you can leave the sides in the original color. And that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching. I encourage you to check my other tutorials, other videos. Let's create some beautiful ornaments together and decor. And check the description, because I'm gonna put link to the DRUZY Goddess page where you can get your DRUZY Goddess sets yourself. And yeah, I'm super happy to start this journey with you and to create some more beautiful artwork together. So thank you for watching.